Now let's welcome one important individual who is here to celebrate with us today. I must say, our class is leaving with quite the bang. Earlier this year, I had a discussion with President Henberg over what our class would like in a senior speaker, or in commencement speaker. And today's speaker surpasses all that we discussed. It is my privilege to introduce Christopher Farnsworth. Born and raised in Boise, Idaho, Mr. Farnsworth graduated from the College of Idaho before pursuing a career as an investigative and business reporter. Today, he is the acclaimed author of the Nathaniel Cade Vampire series. Please join me in welcoming Christopher Farnsworth, class of 1993, to the podium.
Stress is recognized throughout the galaxy as a serious and widespread medical and social issue, as Douglas Adams once said. So I'm going to lead with another quote from Douglas Adams: "Don't panic." I know you have a lot on your minds right now. You are facing graduation, packing up all your stuff, dealing with your parents' questions. So what are you going to do for a living? And wondering when and if you're going to get a job. I want to start with this disclaimer. You are going to get a job. The world is not going to end. I promise there will be an uplifting message and a moral before I'm done, and we're all going to leave here feeling hopeful and ready for the future that's out here waiting for all of us. You, me, everybody. I promise you, you are going to be excited for tomorrow by the end of this speech, and all the tomorrows that come after that. And if you are not, you can see President Henberg for a refund. Line forms over there. But first, we're going to talk about zombies and the apocalypse, because that's what I do for a living. In the 21 years since I stood up here as the student speaker and talked to my graduating class, my speech was a little better. I have not seen a future that doesn't involve at least one apocalypse. It seems like every movie, every book, and every TV show includes at least one version of the end of the world. Right now, we have our choice of Armageddons. The zombie apocalypse, where the dead walk and go on an all-protein diet. The flu apocalypse, where some unknown disease jumps the species barrier and we all discover firsthand what the Black Plague looked like in Europe. The peak oil apocalypse, where we run out of gasoline and everyone has to cut their hair into mohawks and join Mad Max-style biker gangs to survive. The nuclear war apocalypse, which, like many other fashions from the 80s, is coming back into style now that Vladimir Putin has decided he likes Crimean real estate. The genetically modified apocalypse, the vampire apocalypse, the nanotech apocalypse, and many more. You can tell a lot about a culture from its stories. That's something I learned here. And it's pretty clear that many of us are waiting for the end of the world. This leads to a lot of otherwise smart people looking for ways to distract themselves. We've made billionaires of the people who put the equivalent of a junior high yearbook online, send naked pictures over the phones, and let us play Angry Birds. But as Jim Harrison once wrote, when distraction is at the center of the world, we have to look very carefully at what we're being distracted from. I learned here a long time ago in Dr. Clark's class that apocalypse is also the word for revelation. Our visions for the apocalypse reveal a lot about our fears, but they also reveal our hopes. When I was a kid, our future included cities on the moon, space hotels, and flying cars. Somehow we stopped shooting for that. It's even become a slogan. If this is the future, where's my jetpack? That's because it's easier to be scared of zombies than to build jetpacks. Because it's easier to imagine the end of the world than to build a better future. When I look at zombie movies and disaster movies, when I see all the myriad ways we're rehearsing for the end of all things, I think we're waiting for our whole world to hit rock bottom. For there to be some definitive end, some explosion, so that we can start over and start rebuilding. But all of these apocalypses have the same message, whether they know it or not. They are mourning the end of the world as we knew it. It is an admission of a failure of imagination. My generation, and the ones that have come before it, are having trouble thinking of anything better beyond what we knew. So we imagine the end of history. But history is not done with us yet. We have all of these prodigious fears out in front of us, despite the fact, in many ways, the world is the best it's ever been since a group of primates stood up on the African savanna. More people are literate than ever before. Billions of people have in their pockets a computer that connects them to a global network with access to every bit of knowledge ever recorded by humans. Since 1900, we have almost doubled the human lifespan through medicine, sanitation, and the complete elimination of some diseases. 250 years ago, it was still okay to buy and sell human beings based on the color of their skin. And 100 years ago, it was still okay to murder them for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And just this week in Idaho, a brave judge once again upheld the simple idea that all men and women are created equal and deserve the equal benefits of the law. Flaubert wrote that our ignorance of history causes us to slander our own times. The world, despite all appearances, is less violent than it has ever been. And according to the research of Steven Pinker, fewer of us are murdering each other or slaughtering each other wholesale every day. Every day, in spite of our worst instincts and our basest selves, the world is getting better. Admittedly, there are some things to be genuinely frightened of now. I'm not actually worried about a zombie outbreak in our lifetime, but the thought of global temperatures increasing by 4 degrees Celsius does keep me up at night. But we have to stop waiting for Armageddon to get us off the hook. If everything is doomed, then we are free from responsibilities. But everything is not doomed. Our greatest fear is not that the world will end, but that it won't, and that we will have to live with the consequences of our actions. That means we can't wait for the big revelation or the final battle. It's like waiting for a heart attack before you finally start using your gym membership. By then, it's too late. This is where you come in. Remember, I promised, so get ready, here it comes. I believe there is a solution. I believe that we are capable of finding answers to any problem we create, that we have within us the capacity for the same kind of greatness that put human footprints on moon rock, that turned polio into the answer to a trivia question, and tamed lightning and used it to teach silicon to think. Most of you belong to one of the first generations to live the majority of your lives in the 21st century. You have in front of you an epic call to adventure. It's time to come up with a future that's worthy of us. I might not be able to see it clearly, but I'm betting one of you can. And yes, I know it's a huge job. Look, our grandparents and great-grandparents didn't know they were going to save the world when World War II hit. They were scared too, but they found it in themselves to dream of a better future despite the horrific death and destruction that they witnessed and endured. I'm sure they were scared, but they did it anyway. Because the only thing we know for certain about the future is that we have to live there. We can be as scared of that as we want, but it's inevitable. There is literally no alternative. So I choose to believe that the future is, as Warren Ellis once said, an inherently good thing, and we advance into it one tomorrow at a time. The only choice we get is what kind of future we want to create. Zombies or jetpacks? It's up to you. This is where tomorrow begins, right here, right now. It's time to stop waiting for the end of the world and start working to save it. Good luck.